Oh baby, are you in for a treat today? Welcome to another part in my magisterial takedown of Bob Shitfuck Woodward and his garbage-ass book for idiots called Peril, which talks about the 2020 election cycle and how it was totally not stolen and all that shit. Can I even say any of this on YouTube? Is the censorship still going? I don't know. Maybe you'll have to watch this on Rumble. I got no idea. Let's start off with a scene where, according to Bob Woodward, Trump was screaming at Secretary of Defense Mark Esper. "You took away my authority!" Trump screamed and foamed at the mouth, hunched down as if to pounce on the poor, defenseless Secretary of Defense Mark Esper. Bob Woodward's book is filled with things that didn't actually happen. Like this scene is obvious bullshit because Trump doesn't scream. If he screamed, it would be leaked on video by now. We would have seen it. We have potentially tens of thousands of hours of Trump on film over the last few decades. He pretty much has two modes: calm negotiator and showman. And I'm sure he gets angry and raises his voice. He doesn't scream, so fuck you, Bob, you lying piece of shit. And again, I am not simping for Trump here. After the Epstein thing, MAGA is dead. And then after Tucker Carlson lying about not knowing his dad was in the CIA, MAGA is dead a second time. But there are still, if we take a step back from the Epstein thing, before MAGA died, that's where this conversation is taking place right now. We're traveling back in time to a magical fairyland before MAGA died. It's two spectacular deaths in the summer of 2025. So back to Trump screaming. If you have 1 second, even 1 second of footage of Trump screaming, please send it to me. Let everybody know. He might have said the words, "You took away my authority," but the way Bob Woodward tries to portray Scrump, the way Bob Woodward tries to portray Scrump, he was foaming at the mouth and like writhing on the floor and screaming, "You took my authority." That's obviously a fucking lie, because Bob Woodward is a propagandist. Like, Bob, at least invent something believable. Come on, dude. So anyway, after Scrump screamed at Esper, his generals, McKinsey and Milley, tried to inform Trump that if he withdrew troops from Afghanistan, terrorists would surely attack the United States. The generals said that they wanted to fight the mean men over there so we don't have to fight them over here. Fuck. Have you heard that one before? This probably seems like a brilliant new idea to people suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, like Bob Woodward, who reports it as if it's like this groundbreaking geopolitical chess move. But I'm old enough to remember its neocon origins. Fight them over there so we don't have to fight them over here. Woodward tells us that the U.S. troop presence in Afghanistan was an insurance policy against another 9/11 attack. I have lived long enough to see leftists become neocons. What a time to be alive. And of course, if you know anything about the intellectual beginnings of neoconservatism, you know how deeply and fundamentally Israeli and Jewish they are. Irving Kristol, these were Israeli left-wingers. These were Trotskyites. Anyway, I'm just rehashing shit that is already out there. Anyway, if you don't know this stuff, it's fine. But neoconservatism was started by left-wing Jewish political activists. And they just called it neoconservatism just because it's fake. It's rhetoric. It's propaganda. There's nothing conservative about neoconservatism. It's left-wing. So anyway, despite receiving this sage wisdom from his generals about attack them over there, so I will do it over here, Trump pouted. Withdrawing troops was one of his campaign promises. Damn the consequences. I'm sure you know what happens next. Trump pulled the troops out of Afghanistan, and then we immediately got attacked by those evil Taliban fucks. Oh wait, no, that never happened. Because the Taliban didn't give a fuck about America. They just wanted our They just wanted us out of their shit-ass country so they can kill the pedophiles who we supported and funded and protected. On the screen right now, if you're a right-winger, you'll see the NY Times website at the bottom, and you'll be, oh, the New York Times, no. Occasionally, the New York Times will publish true stories. Not often, but occasionally and by accident, they will publish the truth. And the story you're looking at there is true. U.S. soldiers were told to ignore sexual abuse of boys by Afghan allies. That's who we were protecting. That's why the Taliban was mad at us. Get out of their country and stop protecting their pedophiles. What is it with the American government and protecting powerful foreign pedophiles and domestic pedophiles? What is it? Why are we doing that? Is there a reason? Is there any kind of reason we're doing that? And then the conversation shifted to Iran. I have to admit, Trump's hate boner for Iran is one of the gayest things imaginable. I'm not sure how many Mossad agents have been whispering in his ears at night telling him Iran hates him, but Don, wake the fuck up, you stupid shit. The American neocon establishment has wanted to attack Iran since before 9/11. If you're still not waking up to this, catch up. Listen, Don, I know you're not as dialed into things as I am, but you should probably do a little bit of digging. I'll get you started. Check out Project for a New American Century. Look at the names of the people involved. Look at their nationality. And just start noticing a few patterns. This is why the left-wing anti-Iraq war thing never went anywhere worth going, because we knew about Project for a New American Century back then in the Bush years. We knew it was weird, but we were not able to recognize patterns, okay? So now, if you can actually break that conditioning, if you can start noticing patterns, your level of political analysis will skyrocket. You will become just a god of understanding what the fuck is going on. So start with Project for a New American Century, look at the people involved, and just start noticing patterns. It's pretty easy, but you gotta be brave. If you're not brave, it's not gonna work out. Here's the thing. Most MAGA voters are good, honest, hardworking people who have never eaten from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And hence, they have no fucking clue what is behind the deliberate sabotage of their nation. They are too good and too pure to understand evil. It is admirable in a strictly Christian sense, but how far can you take naivete and intellectual cowardice before it starts to become sinful? The neutering of Christianity is inextricably linked to this conversation. We stripped Christ of his masculinity and we turned him into a cotton candy boyfriend. We told boys to emulate this artificial construct that we created that we call Christ. It's not the real Christ. It's this cotton candy boyfriend image. We said, hey boys, be just as weak and pathetic as this false image of Jesus that we have invented. People who hate Christ are ruling all Western governments, and they have been sending us into illegitimate wars since before anybody watching this video was born. Again, just notice some patterns. Of course, Trump is never going to see this, unless he does know it and he's just going along with them because he's also as evil as they are. That might be why he's protecting Jeffrey Epstein's favorite clients. Maybe he's one of them. Trump was sort of the compromise with the system, right? Like, okay, we know that you're never going to give the people what we actually need. So how about this? How about you let us vote for a 90s Democrat reality show star? He's good at business, and he just kind of gives a few lip service things to the Republican base. Just let us vote for him for 2 shit terms consecutive. Don't steal elections from us. Just give us that. And that'll probably satiate our desire to have something true. Like, that could have been enough. The pressure's going to keep building, but 2 consecutive Trump terms would have been a great pressure release valve. Trump was the compromise. We said, okay, just give us this shitty 90s Democrat who calls himself a Republican. Just give us that. The system couldn't even give us that. So guess what's coming next, guys? Trump was the compromise. And there's no more, we're not compromising anymore. You think we're going to go for J.D. Vance? You can install J.D. Vance into the White House. I'm not telling you you're not going to be able to do that. I'm just saying Trump's base is so far beyond radicalized that if I continue with this sentence, the end. I'm not even gonna continue with the end of that other sentence that I started in the middle of that one. Trump is a good start. He's the compromise. But we now need strong Christian men to take power. That's what we need now. Otherwise, we can never attack the root of our problems, and we can never end our addiction to foreign wars. If we do not put strong Christian men in charge, the global establishment will simply undo every good thing Trump accomplished in his first and second term. The limited amount of good things that he achieved will be immediately undone. Whether they put a Democrat or a Republican in, like if they get J.D. Vance in, you think he's the future of MAGA? You look into his dead, soulless, gay CIA eyes. Come on. Nobody's falling for the J.D. Vance bullshit. Get out of here. And hey, if you want to join my council of Christo-fascist leaders, subscribe to the channel. There is only one sentence in the book Peril that is true. Here it is. A war would be bad news for Trump's re-election campaign. In 2025... Trump is being even more retarded than usual on the topic of Iran. And since he doesn't have to worry about re-election, he might consider indulging his hate boner. I wrote that before he bombed Iran. Anybody could see this coming. I'm not going to die in Iran. Cry about it, Trump. And if anybody watching this is stupid enough to consider deploying to Iran when Trump tells you to go, I want you to know that you are one of the stupidest people who has ever lived. And I hope you do go and you fight in Trump's war with Iran. I hope you do, because the American IQ will go up when you die. Fuck you, you brain-dead asswipe. Go to Iran and fight for my freedom. While I sit here and collect all the white feathers. I'm going to get a big headdress full of white feathers. I'm going to have a full suit. I'm going to have a white feather tuxedo while you are in Tehran. I just want you to know that. If even 1% of your brain is considering going, I want you to do it. Please go. So, Bob Bitch Boy Woodward can go ahead and cry about Trump not withdrawing troops from Afghanistan. His boyfriend, Joe Biden, withdrew those troops and gave the Taliban millions of dollars worth of military equipment. But I'm sure the Biden dick riders have found 600 ways to blame Trump for that. I don't know. Who cares? Like, anyone who's a fan of Biden, like, they're just instantly out of every conversation. You go away. Why are you even watching this if you even considered for a second voting for Biden or Kamala? There's nothing you and I can ever have in common. You're not even human. You know who else isn't human? Colin Powell. First, the name Colin? Colin is your name? It's not Colin, it's Colin? Like butthole? Your name is Butthole Powell? Did you know that Butthole Powell is on the side of Mark Milley? Butthole Powell, the man who lied us into the Iraq War. The man who fabricated evidence of Saddam's weapons of mass destruction. Colin Powell. His name is pronounced like Colin because his parents are too illiterate to figure out the right pronunciation. You want to call me racist about that? Fuck you, Candace Owens can't read. Mark Milley asked Rectum Powell if he should resign, and Rectum shrieked like a banshee, "Fuck no, Trump is a maniac," and then they did gay stuff together. A few days later, Trump asked Mark Milley if he should ban Confederate flags, And Millie, being a whiny little bitch, said, "Ban them! The Confederates are traitors! Change the names of the military bases! Take down Confederate statues!" He made sure to mention that the graves of the Confederate soldiers in Arlington are all in a circle with their names facing each other, symbolizing that they turned their backs on America. This Arlington decision is an extremely cringe move made by some Millie-esque weasel decades ago. And then that little speech he gave impressed Mike, professional traitor Pence, who obviously knows a few things about treason. "I think I found my Union self," he said when he saw Mark Milley, and then he and Milley got married and did gay stuff. That's from the book. Woodward wrote that Mark Milley and Mike Pence did gay stuff together. I didn't make that up. That actually happened. Woodward writes, "Milley had been confirmed by the Senate 89-1, suggesting near unanimous bipartisan support." Yes, Woodward, we are all aware that there is unanimous bipartisan support on the topic of destroying America. This isn't news. That's why we voted for Trump. We fell for it. Can we talk about COVID for a little bit? In his book, Bob Woodward excoriates Trump for wanting to hold rallies during COVID. The funniest part of COVID for me personally was watching the news tell people that COVID wouldn't spread during the BLM riots. Don't go to church, don't go to the gym because you'll get COVID, but definitely go burn down buildings in support of a dead junkie who tortured pregnant women and overdosed. That's cool, that won't spread COVID. And of course, Bob wants to set the stage for Biden's 2020 election win. He quotes yet another swamp bitch, Dick Licker Morris, who wrote a memo to Trump's senior advisors. "If you are perceived as having failed during a time of crisis, you cannot come back." That sentence perfectly explains why COVID was unleashed. The goal was to create the perception that Trump had, quote, failed in a time of crisis. And he didn't fail. He did everything the fucking Democrats wanted him to do. He let them lock people in their homes, close their businesses, keep them out of church. He launched Operation Warp Speed, which coerced millions of people into injecting experimental liquid that I lovingly refer to as demon semen. I also call it tard juice. You can use those nicknames for free. They're pretty great. I invented them myself. You don't have to give me credit. Just take those names and use them. All right, let's switch from COVID and talk about race. Bob Woodward holds all the correct beliefs about race. He stresses how important it was for Biden's campaign to have black women at the front. He capitalizes black, by the way, like a pathetic little bitch. Quote, "Clyburn knew that a black woman would be a big advantage in the Democrat Party and carried its own logic. As the obese Reddit mod said to the shitposter, citation fucking needed. A black woman would be a big advantage." Okay, how? Please give me a reason apart from my skin is black and her skin is black. Like, just give me a reason. You can't do that, can you? This is the part where a lesser essayist, a lesser writer, like perhaps Victor Davis Hanson, would name 15 to 20 impressive black women who would have been a great VP pick for Joe Biden. I would like to issue a challenge to all of my fellow evil right-wing bastards. Right-wingers, stop internalizing shit-lib arguments. Leftists do not debate in good faith. They are not seeking the truth. They seek power at any cost. When we capitulate to them, when we cede rhetorical ground and say, "I'm not racist," we are telling them that their beliefs are good and correct. This is dumbassery of the highest order. The word racism was popularized by Leon Trotsky. That should be enough for us to immediately dismiss the entire concept. When leftists say, "Black girl magic is real and we should be quiet when they're talking," here is how we should respond. "No, you fat bitch. No black woman has an IQ above 6. This has been scientifically proven by Dr. Fauci. Now shut the fuck up and deport yourself to the surface of the sun. That's how we should respond. Now, is this unnecessarily mean? It certainly is mean, I will give you that, but it is not unnecessarily mean. Leftists genuinely believe Kamala Harris is smart and upstanding. There is no way to find common ground with someone who likes Kamala Harris. Every Kamala voter got the COVID vax in exchange for a Krispy Kreme donut. Every Kamala voter is still wearing a COVID mask in 2025. Every Kamala voter poops their pants when they think about January 6th. Every Kamala voter puts gender pronouns in all of their social media profiles. Every Kamala voter calls Joe Biden's wife Dr. Biden. Every Kamala voter wants the government to forcefully take your money and use it to fund Planned Parenthood. Every Kamala voter loves the idea of importing the entire third world into your neighborhood, but not theirs. I'll put it in your neighborhood, but not mine. Every Kamala voter is unprincipled. Do not waste your energy on them. The most that you should do is to pray that God helps them out of their self-imposed ignorance. And here's another bit of rhetorical judo that you should employ. And I'm giving this to anybody who is not actually racist. So if you are a racist, you're watching this, hi, you're welcome to stick around. I'm not actually racist, but I do play one on YouTube because I genuinely hate people on the left and I want them to cry when they talk to me. So anyone on the right who is not a racist, here's what we need to do. We need to pretend that we are racist, right? So in public, we declare ourselves to be racist. Okay, and then in private, like after you have a few drinks and you start, saying things that you probably shouldn't say, you can be like, look, and this only goes if you're with people who you genuinely trust, like people who you know aren't going to fucking sell you out. You go, look, here's the truth. I'm not, got to look around like, okay, nobody's listening. It's just the two or three of us at this table. Look, I'm not actually racist, okay? Like, I don't give a shit like what skin color someone is, okay? But let's just keep that between you and me. If you fucking tell anyone, I swear to God, I will peel the skin off your body. All right. Why was Biden chosen? Why was Kamala chosen? Speaking of self-imposed ignorance, let's get back to Bob Woodward. He tries his damnedest to make picking Kamala Harris seem like a savvy and popular move by Biden, like a master chess player making moves nobody can understand until the end game. The truth is that the shadowy forces behind the Democrat Party picked Biden and Kamala because they were the least popular during the primaries, and therefore they were the most likely to do as they were told because they were in the weakest negotiating position. This is the benefit of knowing about business shit and negotiating in addition to politics. This is the benefit of getting older, being involved in politics for a couple decades, and then expanding beyond just politics and learning about shit in general. The reason they were picked is because they had no leg to stand on from a negotiating standpoint, and both Biden and Kamala Harris are like deep political whores who will do literally anything for money and power. So that's why the system picked them. Said, okay, we're going to give you power and we're going to give you money, and you just do what we tell you. The end. And that's sort of how the entire media sphere operates. You already know this. You know that Jeffrey Epstein basically controlled all of Washington, D.C. and Hollywood. I don't need to tell you that. I mean, unless you don't know that. Like, if you don't know that by now, it's summer 2025. Where the fuck have you been? So the conversation with Biden and Kamala and their handlers probably went like this. Listen, you idiots. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants to vote for you, but we will put you in office if you do everything we tell you to do. That's probably literally what some fucking Fed agent told them. That quote is probably verbatim. I wouldn't be surprised. You gotta Talk real clear when you're dealing with people who are as fucking soulless and stupid as Biden and Kamala. Biden came with the extra benefit of being clinically brain dead, a living corpse who could mumble something that vaguely resembled what you told him to say. Bootlickers like to say he just had a stutter. He has stuttered his whole life. It's not dementia. That's fake news. And isn't it just fucking convenient that his dementia was fake news until August 2024, when the Democrats decided they needed to throw his corpse into the ditch and run Kamala as their new candidate? Isn't that convenient? And then, like, the day after the debate with Trump, it was like the media immediately started talking about cognitive decline. Where the fuck have you idiots been? But the media knew, and they were just in on it. Obviously, I'm not telling you anything new here. And this is your daily reminder that Kamala voters deliberately ignore all of that stuff. Like, the Kamala voters know this shit too, right? Everyone who voted for Joe Biden, they all know this shit. And they just think that you and me are stupid enough to not know it. We all know it too. Everybody on both sides knows it. It's just that people on the left think we don't know it. They think that we're going to go along with their stupid fucking game because in the past, the right has typically just bent over and like, okay, do whatever you want, lefties. Those days are in the fucking past. So the Kamala voters deliberately ignore all that stuff. They are subhuman trash monsters. They are fucking scumbags. By the way, the word scumbag, did you know this? It means used condom. How appropriate in Kamala's case. Kamala Harris is the human embodiment of a used condom draining out on the concrete next to a dumpster and a broken bottle of whiskey. Bob Woodward wants you to be inspired when he writes, "The Biden campaign raised $48 million in the 48 hours following the announcement of Harris as VP, and a record-breaking $365.4 million in August, more than any single month's fundraising total in previous presidential elections." Again, we have a shitlib deliberately obscuring the truth. The campaign funding didn't come from average American voters. It came from corrupt, rich ass fucks who knew the Biden-Harris duo would be their ticket to plunder the economy. Remember DEI initiatives? Money laundering was always the primary goal. And again, they know this and they think we're stupid enough to not see it. Like, how stupid do you have to be to think right-wingers believe your bullshit? Hey, can we talk about the F word for a little bit? Fascist. They always say, Trump is a fascist. God, I fucking wish Trump was a fascist. The left understands fascism and knows that it is an existential threat to their hegemony. Leftists, don't worry. The right will never understand the point that I'm making here, okay? Your propaganda, I'm speaking as a former leftist. You guys don't have anything to fear. The right will never understand this point about fascism. Do not worry. They will not ever understand that you guys are generally correct about economics. So literally, you have nothing to worry about. The left-wing propaganda has perfectly disabled the conservative brain. I give you guys, as a former comrade of you guys, I give you an A+++, chef's kiss, bravo. I will never be capable of such incredible propaganda. Again, I salute you magnificent bastards. Well done. Honestly, it's enough to make me want to come back to the left. You have everybody on the left and the right buying into your fucking fake narrative. All right, I'm fangirling a little too much. I'm not actually coming over to the left, but really, geez. I love how you guys were able to put the fascist, to make that, remove the word evil and just replace it with fascist inside of the brains of everybody on the left and right. That is a fucking phenomenal piece of rhetoric. It's beyond inspiring. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit more about neocons. Bob Woodward really wants you to know how much he loves Mitch McConnell for standing against Trump. And again, I have to do a slow clap. Leftists were able to make common cause with neocon shit stains like Mitch McConnell and Cheney and Bush and Rectum Powell. Remember, lefties, you are siding with Dick Cheney when you cry about the Orange Man. Nothing else needs to be said. You've gladly sided with evil. You fucking dipshit tard fucks. I'm not a very good Christian, so it should come as no surprise when I say if you are on Dick Cheney and Mitch McConnell's side regarding Trump, I genuinely want you to go to hell and burn for eternity. So that's the end. This entire video has been a masterpiece of performance art. If my FBI agent is watching this, I want you to know that you've been watching a cute little joke. This is art. I'm an artist. If you enjoyed this, you can check out part 1. And now that we are at the end of it, I want to show you a couple comments that I got when I published this on Substack. So check this out. It makes zero sense. Look at this. It's easy to condemn someone who doesn't agree with you. And then there are the facts. But if you face them, who would you hate? Do you really want your scumbags to tell the truth? Is that a sentence or a question? If it's a question, you got to put a fucking question mark there. What would they say about you? That you were mistaken? Or just too small to protect anyone from? What does that mean? Are you schizophrenic? And then the next one, highly recommend turning off the Fox News and MAGA Kool-Aid drip. Did you actually say that Trump is threatening the elite's money? Lol. This was one of the most unhinged posts that I have seen in months. Okay, I appreciate that last one. I like that. I like when people call me unhinged. I like that word. I like writing unhinged shit. That's fun. That's entertaining for everybody. It's fun to write. It's fun to read. Fox News? You think I'm up inside Israel's ass, you stupid retard? All right, so anyway, that's the end of the video. I love you. Mwah. I miss you. Let's go get coffee. Goodbye.